what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diana. So today I kind of wanted to make a video on how to read a birth chart, like what a birth chart is. And the reason that I wanted to make this video is because to this day I have a lot of people that ask me how to interpret their birth chart, like the basics. So this is more a video for all of the beginners who are barely looking at their natal chart and want to kind of understand it. I think that this video is a long time coming because astrology, I feel like, is getting more and more popular recently. For people who are new to my channel or who are just starting off, this is the video for you guys. But before I get into all of the birth chart stuff, I wanted to give you guys an update. So on my last videos, you guys knew that I was pregnant, and since then I did give birth to a beautiful baby boy. I also wanted to introduce you guys to my sweet baby. His name is Alexander. He's a Pisces with a Virgo rising and a moon in Leo, because his mom was a lunar Leo, huh? Yeah. Anyways, so this is what's kind of keeping me a little bit busy the past few months. But now that I'm a stay-at-home mom, I hope that I have more time to film more videos for you guys and get my readings going. So anyways, I just wanted to introduce you guys to this cute little angel baby. So that has been obviously keeping me super busy. Taking care of a newborn baby is no joke. And then on top of that, I moved, so I'm no longer in Arizona. Now I'm in good old San Diego, California. So I've had a lot of changes in my life, but ultimately it's for the better. And hopefully these changes will now allow me to finally start doing birth chart readings. I do have a website, but it's not ready to it's not ready to go live for you guys. I will let you guys know when it is, and then I'll have to work out the whole reading stuff, and I'll give you guys more information on the videos to come. And then I also wanted to get your guys' feedback on what videos I should do next, as far as, like, you know, series. I was thinking maybe something on the North Node, on the North Nodes, I should say, maybe Saturn. So anyways, just let me, whatever it is, just let me know in the comments below what you guys would, what type of content, what type of videos, what information you would like me to talk about. Okay, so without further ado, I just wanted to now go into the basics of astrology and the basics of the birth chart to kind of give you guys some information on what everything means. First off, what is a birth chart? To me, the best way that I could understand a birth chart, a natal chart, or whatever you want to call it, I see it as something very psychological. It has a lot to do with your upbringing, your childhood, and how you perceive things that later affect your adult life and so forth. It tells you about some characteristics that you're predisposed to and how you're likely to react to situations, and in different areas of your life, kind of how things can play out based off of how you react to things. Your birth chart is all energy, and the different symbols in it and the patterns that you see are manifestations of the type of energy you put out. And so in this you know, world, as a collective, the energy that you put out is kind of, you know, the energy that's going to come back to your life. So as far as Western astrology, you can predict certain things, maybe not as specific as Vedic astrology, because the Western has a more psychological, energetic approach to the birth chart. But you can see certain things, like the type of person you'll attract in your life, approximately when you'll get married. It's not that it'll give you exact things in Western astrology, but it'll give you little hints and energy that you're predisposed to. So my fiance, he is a Taurus rising. For those who do not know what rising signs are, it's the first house in your birth chart. It's where you see the symbol called AC. That is your rising sign, and that basically is the energy that you put out to the world upon first meeting people. It's your mask, it's your cover, it's what people see at first glance. He's a Taurus rising, so he puts out a lot of that energy. He has Venus in his first house as well. And then the opposite of that is Scorpio. And the opposition there creates, number one, the energy he puts out over here, and then the opposite energy, because everybody knows opposites attract. So what am I? I'm a Scorpio, and you know, we're together, and he's dated a lot of Scorpionic energy in his past. So that's kind of how that works out as far as, you know, astrology, Western astrology specifically, being able to kind of predict things and tell you, you know, what certain people you're going to bring into your life. With astrology, a lot of people know astrology as just their sun sign. They know that if they're born April 3rd, they're in Aries. Or if you're born May 5th, you're a Taurus. And that's kind of where people start off. And then from there, they, you know, start looking at daily horoscopes, seeing what signs are compatible with. If you're born, you know, as an Aries, not everybody is going to feel really like an Aries or a Scorpio or a Taurus or whatever you are. And that's because on the day that you're born, the celestial sky has has planets. There is, you know, the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and so forth. All the planets you learned in astronomy, but they're all in different zodiac signs. So you may be born on, you know, April 3rd, or better example, today. Okay, so let's just say you're born today, you know, April, let's say they're, for the babies born today, to give you an example, April 8th, 2018. Let's see, we have the sun in Aries at 19, so the sun in Aries. So people born today are Aries. But we also have the other planets, like the moon is in Capricorn, Jupiter is in Scorpio, Venus is in Taurus, and Mercury is in Aries. And so all those planets are going to influence any baby born today. So they're definitely going to be in Aries, but they're going to have the moon in Capricorn. So this person would later in life, if they're interested in astrology, which probably they won't be, they are going to want to look at the characteristics of Capricorn, especially because the moon sign is one of the most important factors in your chart. They're going to want to look at, you know, what Capricorn means. So they're headstrong, leaders, whatever. The baby's born, I imagine a child born today is probably going to be very headstrong, business-led, business-oriented, a leader, because you have Aries, a cardinal sign, and Capricorn, a cardinal sign. But those are modalities that, you know, I'll get into later. That really doesn't matter right now for the purpose of this video. So essentially, a child born today is going to have all of these different energies influencing them, kind of like when you were born. So in order to pull up your birth chart, so now you can, you know, see what's going on with your specific scenario, you guys can go on cafeastrology.com, astro.com, or astrotheme.com. Those are the ones that I usually use, and enter your time of birth, your date of birth, and the city and state you were born in. You do need to know those three elements, and for your time of birth, it does need to be like specific on the dot. And then you can kind of see where all the planets are. So when you pull up that birth chart, I can show you mine. You're gonna see a lot of symbols. You're gonna see like a symbol that looks like the moon, a symbol that looks like the sun, and then some other figures. In addition to that, you're gonna see like a pie chart. That's especially if you use astro.com. Actually, that's what I recommend, because then you'll see like a pie chart divided into 12 pies. So the first pie would be your first house, number 1. Number 2 is your second house. And all of those little pie areas signify different areas of your life. The first house is going to be your body, your image, like what you look like, your appearance. The second house is your values. So it could be, you know, how the person feels about their self-worth. It could be, you know, how they make money, or in their childhood, what they surrounded themselves with for comfort as a necessity. Did they get their needs met? The third house is communication, short trips, siblings. If planets and their symbols in that little pie chart, in that little pie part, could signify, you know, the person is a really good communicator. They had, you know, a lot of siblings, etc. The fourth one is the home. So planets in that little pie space with the number 4 could mean, you know, something about the family dynamics, depending on what symbols there are in each one. The fifth one would be kids, creativity. The sixth house would be your health, routine. Can you work a 9-to-5 job? And then the 7th would be relationships. So what type of people do you attract? What type of relationships are you gonna have? Divorces, etc. The 8th one would be everything psychological, transformations, death, money from other people, like banks. Some people with a lot of planets there could work in finance. They could have tax breaks depending on the symbol that's in there. The 9th house is education. So higher education, foreign travel, your belief system. So people with a lot of planets there, they may have a really strict belief system. They may be free souls, gypsies. They may go on to college and have that fun college life and pursue higher education. The 10th house would be your career. So people with a lot of planets there can have a lot of success and, you know, working for corporate America, climbing up the ladder, being recognized at their job, getting along with their bosses, depending on the symbol. So the 11th one is your friends. The 11th one would be like, if people have a lot of symbols in there, people would, you know, have a lot of friends, be popular, or maybe depending on the symbol, if it's a more malefic planet like Mars or Uranus, then people don't get along with like male figures, or they have a lot of arguments with their friends. And then finally, the 12th pie is your unconscious. It's your dreams, or I should say, your unconscious, your self-undoing. So that's kind of where all your karma lies. If you don't have any symbols in each of these areas of your life, which you probably won't, and by symbols, I mean those symbols that you see are planets. So now I'm actually gonna talk to you guys about the planets, what the planets mean and what they, their energy. So the sun is gonna represent, at a very basic level, your ego, what you identify with. Venus would represent love and friendships, what you enjoy, what gives you happiness. Mercury is gonna represent your communication, how you talk, how you think, how your brain is wired. Your moon sign is gonna represent your emotions at the deepest level, like your true colors, who you really are with people that you're comfortable with. Mars is gonna represent aggression, how you're in bed, what gives you energy, what makes you tick. Jupiter is gonna represent where you find the most luck in, what comes to you naturally, easily. Saturn is gonna represent your karma, where you may struggle a lot in life, where your biggest lessons are gonna come, toughest lessons. And then for the rest of the planets, they're a little bit more outer planets, so they're more generational, which means all of your peers are gonna have kind of similarities. It's kind of more used for mundane astrology as far as predicting the shift of societies and generations and etc. But unless you have contacts, which are those little lines in the middle of a chart, from a personal planet, which are the ones that I just mentioned, to one of these more outer planets, then it would be more specific, or you'd feel that energy a little bit more than your peers. So then you're gonna have Uranus, which represents the rebellious side of the society, or the rebellious side of you, what's a little bit more unorthodox. You're gonna have Neptune, which is more delusion, more like, you know, it's delusion, it's where people lose themselves in a generation. What they use to use themselves, it could represent drugs, it could represent cameras, anything with like a veil almost, if that makes sense. And then you're gonna have Pluto, which represents deep transformations, rebirths, spurts of energy. So I pretty much think I went over all of the planets. So we went over the planets. Then that's okay, because those are still areas of your life that you do want to look at, but that's more advanced to kind of just give you beginners what you guys should emphasize on. Number one, like I said, you want to look at the houses, which I already gave you a quick rundown of what everything means. Then you want to look at the symbols, which are the planets, and then the signs. The signs also will have symbols, so you can just start by finding out where the little sun is. So today the sun would be in Aries, and you know, you Aries know your symbol, so look at that, and then, you know, then study the symbols. Like Taurus, study the symbols. So study what the symbols are from Aries through Pisces, and that will kind of help you see what signs the planets fall in. And then obviously you'll know what houses the planets fall in, because there's a number next to them. So it's just a matter of learning the signs and their symbols to know what sign they fall. Yeah, then you'd want to put everything together. So now to give you some examples, I just want to give you some examples of my chart. And every chart is unique to the person. So unless somebody was born at the same time, at the same place as me, they're not going to have these positions. So let me just tell you a little bit about my chart, and then you guys can use how I interpret my chart to interpret your chart, depending on what signs and, you know, the houses the planets are in and so forth. So for my chart, I'm a Scorpio sun. So I have a Scorpio sun in the 7th house. As you can see, the sun is in the sign of Scorpio, and then it's in the house with the number 7 on it. So what that tells you about my personality is that, you know, I'm intense like a Scorpio. I identify with, you know, being secretive or having that mystery around me sometimes, but at the same time, I am very relational. I love to talk to people one-on-one. I love relationships. A huge part of finding my ego, because remember the sun is ego, is going to be through relationships. So I'll learn a lot about myself through others. So that's my sun. And then, you know, I'm not going to interpret everything in my chart, but then now that you kind of see how I put things together with my chart a little bit, you guys can look at your own chart and then see where your sun, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, all those planets fall, and kind of put everything together. Astrology goes way more deeper than this, because there's those symbols in between, which are, I'm sorry, those lines in between that kind of look like math chaos, and those represent aspects, but those are a little bit more advanced astrology. There's basically connections between planets in different areas of your life, depending on the houses that each planet makes aspect to. And the red lines typically are squares, so they're oppositions, which are a little bit more harder aspects, as more like a conflict within that area of life. And then the blue ones are good. That means that, you know, planets are getting along. It's what comes easy to us a little bit, but that's more complicated. I can get into that in a separate video. For now, I just wanted you guys to have an idea of what well, number one, I wanted you guys to know that astrology is more than the fact than your sun sign or your horoscope. Number two, I wanted you to know that on the day you're born, the skies, the heavens have planets in different signs that affect you and influence you. And then there's different areas of your life that the planets are specifically affecting, in some charts more than others. And then I wanted you guys to be able to put those three elements together. That way later on, we can layer on the aspects and everything else that goes into astrology. But I'm sure with those items now, you'll really be surprised if you're a beginner and have never looked at your chart before as to the magic of astrology and how, you know, if before you didn't think you related to your horoscope, I'm pretty sure now that you look at your birth chart, you'll be able to relate and kind of maybe believe in astrology a little bit more, just by looking, let's say, at your moon sign. Like if your moon is in Taurus and you're a Capricorn, you'll understand why you love food so much, even though Capricorns can be really strict with themselves. That's just an example. But anyways, I have to go grab my baby. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. I'll be back with more content soon. Please don't forget to comment below and let me know what you guys would like to see next. And I'll see you guys later. Bye. Say bye, Alex. No, you don't want to? He's a little cranky moon in Leo right now. Okay, bye guys. You like to be in front of the camera?